Stop right now with the Carson Wentz hate. Figured we mix it up. Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It's great to be here with all of you at 12 o'clock here on September 17, 2020. As always, joined alongside Gavin Tony, who I guess liked the new intro, the new style that we're doing, trying to mix it up a little bit. Sir, how are you doing today?
That was funny. Listen, y'all, I'm doing way better today. Zach, someone told me honey and tea, good for throats and stuff. I'm doing good. For ladies and gentlemen, for those who may or may not know, I had no idea he was doing that. And if it looks like I was in pain, guys, when you have allergies, coughing a lot, hurts your rib cage. I wish that was a way to get six packs. If so, sir, I would have a six pack. But I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here Thursday. We got Thursday Night Football tonight. We do have the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics playing. On Friday, we have tomorrow that'll be the Lakers and the Nuggets. It should be exciting and fun to watch that series. And more, we got a half hour to get to it. We have a U.S. Open currently happening right now. They thought that not a single person would be able to shoot under par for the winning tournament. Right now, the leader is -3 Rory McIlroy, and forget who the other one is. I think Justin Thomas. So I'm going to be continuing to watch that, keeping up to date with that and more. So it should be exciting. It should be very fun. We'll continue to supply updates throughout the rest of the week with that.
Also, I forgot to mention this. Shout out to Naomi Osaka. She won the women's and forgive me if I say this wrong. It's the Open, right? The
U.S. Open. Yep, women's tennis U.S. Open.
Well, congratulations to her, Zach. For if you may or may not know, she was wearing masks with all the names, either George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, all those guys. So huge shout out to her. Congratulations on winning and continue going on.
Without a doubt. So with that being said, Gavin, we're going to get to it, man. I just think it's important that we as a team here are continuing to speak about the same things that we talk about with Philadelphia sports. And so I know it's the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show, but we got to talk about it. And the reason for that is we spoke about the Eagles. They play on Sunday again. As today's title was, as I kind of emphasized here early, Carson Wentz hate. It's too early for it. That's kind of my consensus. Again, I am more of a Carson Wentz defender this week. I was not on Monday. If you do want to go back and watch that show, I don't think that, in all honesty, I was, giving Carson Wentz anything. I was not sitting here saying it's not his fault at all. I wasn't sitting here, saying that he doesn't deserve any of the blame. But what I can't stand right now, and Gavin, it's not a personal attack at you, but I know you are becoming a big fan of the Jalen Hurts hat. And you're going to get an opportunity to explain your side. I'm sure you'll have a good point for it here. But I think it's ludicrous, ridiculous, blasphemous, whatever you want to say on it. Carson Wentz is a franchise quarterback for this team. Sure, he made a few bad decisions in that first game. They were up 17-0. There's a lot of factors that go into it. There would never be a quarterback controversy if Nick Foles never came in here, honestly. I don't know what the Eagles would have done that year if Carson didn't get hurt. Would have won MVP for sure. Could have won the Super Bowl, I'm not sure. They had a great coaching staff that year. They ran the ball really well. So I think that we don't know what happens. If that never happened, then we wouldn't be having so quick to give up on the quarterback. Gavin, the Browns haven't given up on their quarterback. They're through 4 coaches.
They should.
We're on the same coach. All right, we're on the same coach. Carson has not had a losing record since his rookie year. Actually, correct, he was 5-6 2 years ago. But last year he had 9-7, and this year right now 0-1. Went 11-2 is his second season here on the team. And his record with Lane Johnson is great, and his record when they run the ball more than 25 times is great. So we know what we got to do. I don't know why we don't do it. I got to go back and watch the game film. I'm trying to get NFL Game Pass so I can actually break it down and tell you. But Carson Wentz is not the main issue on this football team, at least right now. Okay, Mitch Trubisky, big issue on that team, right?
Huge.
Baker Mayfield, big issue on that team. All right, the Eagles, in all honesty, we should be able to look at this, and honestly, I'll say it now. It's after week 1. You don't have a mature receiver on this team. You have Deshaun Jackson, who's great, but he was only getting 54% of the snaps, which is a coaching issue. Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert are your most reliable guys. Greg Ward, you got to get them all more involved on the short routes. JJ Whiteside needs to get involved. You don't have the reliable pass catcher still. It's still an issue on this team. I'm not sure if you're going to go out and get yourself an Allen Robinson or go out and get a guy like that. But here's what I got to tell you. All right, this team still is not mature. Before the season, I said it's a tough schedule. They're not mature. Before the season, I said this, 9-7, 10-6 at best. I think right now, 8-8, 9-7. It's not hard to believe, okay? This team still needs maturity. Maybe Alshon can come back and be that elite player. But you got to stop throwing the ball downfield so much, all right? Congratulations, you got speed. But what worked last year? When the defense is playing up on you, it's hard to go underneath and be able to do things successfully. They still did it. They still did it. And so I think that now when you have a defense playing back on you, why are you feeding into them throwing a deep? I mean, come on, that's a good coaching scheme. You got to outcoach them. That's what you got to do. Some games you can out physical. Some games you can beat them with speed. But in that game, when they made the adjustments like they did, it's so important, so crucially important for this team to just take what they give you, throw it underneath, keep it simple, run the ball. If running up the gut with a 4 foot or 5'6" guy doesn't work, then pitch it to the left side, which is the relatively healthy side. You got to do something. Something's got to work. Of course, Carson Wentz is part of the blame, but Jalen Hurts will be no more successful. That's my argument, at least. Even Tom Brady didn't have as good of an O-line as he's had and a great coach, and he struggled a little bit. 2 interceptions, too. Carson Wentz, 2 interceptions, but it's not going to happen every week. If it becomes a pattern, I'll be concerned. But the Carson Wentz hate right now is not correctly aimed. Gavin, I'll let you defend yourself. I'll let you speak on your mindset, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm not totally 100% against Carson Wentz. Let me just throw that out there, Zach. I'm not 100% against Carson Wentz because Sunday's not Carson Wentz's fault. It's not his fault, all right? The offensive line is horrible, and it's Doug Peterson's fault as well. Zach, you argue this point a lot, and I agree with you. When you run the ball, when Nick Foles was behind the center, they ran the ball a lot, right? When Carson Wentz is behind the center, they make him drop back a lot, right? Here's my argument, and you're right. You're right. I'm not 100% against Carson Wentz. I'm not. I'm maybe I'm a little bit against Carson Wentz. Here's why: his injuries and his health. Not trying to sound like a Cowboys fan because that's all they say repeatedly. Trent, how you doing? But Cowboys fans, they always say, and other people always say his injury and stuff. I look at Jalen Hurts and I say, in a game like that in Sunday where Carson Wentz is being beat up, abused, bullied, Zach, what's any other words I could use? Destroyed? The offense.
8 sacks, and 3 of them were his fault on record. And I'm
thinking
that Dan Orlovsky's word. I have not seen it firsthand. I'm trying to have an opportunity to look at the game film from that game to figure out what went wrong. But Gavin, continue.
He held the ball for a couple of those sacks, and you got to learn to throw the ball away. Zach, that's the main thing. Carson wants us to throw the ball away. If it's against his pass attempts versus all that stuff, you got to save yourself. Here's the thing, Zach. When I look at Jalen Hurts, right, I look at a guy that you could do a little bit more things with. You got fresher legs. You could do, and I don't like Drew Brees, but you could do what they do in New Orleans with Taysom Hill. Where they use the Taysom Hill package. Zach, the Taysom Hill package is so good. They added in Madden, where there's a QB draw or you read options and stuff that Carson Wentz used to be able to do. Because I want to say before the ACL injury, Zach, and you could agree or disagree. Before the ACL injury, Carson Wentz was more mobile, but now he's not really as mobile anymore. But you got a guy in Jalen Hurts that is mobile that you could implement some of these read option plays, more of these RPOs. Maybe RPO read option. I don't know how that stuff works. Maybe it could. But Zach, QB draws like Cam Newton. I just think that's where I come in with the whole Jalen Hurts. I'm not 100% Carson Wentz. I think after one game, it's not really his fault. But I would start looking other ways as well.
If you're up 17-0, don't you think at some point you got to start saying, okay, maybe we just got out-coached in this game? If you're up 17-0, something's working, but they stop doing it. They start trying to show off the speed. Just preserve the clock at that point. Like, sit on the ball. Do it. Like, Carson Wentz can throw the ball if he needs to on 3rd and 10. It's hard to do it on 2nd and 22, right? Because then you feel more pressure. All right, Carson had a bad second half because of the situation he was put in. The first interception didn't kill him. All right, but when they were down by 7, all right, and he takes a sack that keeps Jake Elliott from kicking the field goal, right? He was trying to look downfield to make a play. Okay, this is after both picks, by the way. They're still in this game very much so. When he has the fumble, 2 fumbles, by the way, Jason Kelce had one of them back. It's from Chase Young getting the sack and a half. Okay?
That's a great question.
He's getting hit a lot more. And Gavin, if you're talking about the injury concerns, it makes sense. But Carson Wentz didn't come into that game bad. If you're a quarterback that comes into a game bad, you're a bad quarterback. Okay? If you're a quarterback that came into the game the way he did, and then stuff just got diminished, it's a team effort for that loss. So I think, in all honesty, there's not any concern for the quarterback position. If Lane Johnson's back healthy, if Miles Sanders is back, it only comes down to the play calling. All right? I'll sit there this week, right? And I'm trying to keep my emotions off of sports because they disappoint as much as they do. I'm trying to keep my temperament, except for the first 10 minutes on Mondays on the show when the Eagles lose. But in reality, I'll tell you this much right now. I can sit back as an analyst. It's hard to do when it's your team, but I did it against the Seahawks the first time, and a lot of it was a combination of a bad play call and a Carson Wentz misthrow. All right, you need to get him in rhythm. You need to develop it, and the script was great. The opening script for the first time in 3 years was phenomenal, but they didn't make the adjustments they needed to. So you bring out the energy, you bring out the script that you did in the beginning of that game, and you combine that, okay, the O-line is struggling now. Let's start running the ball to the other side, or let's roll Carson out of the pocket. All right, or Jalen Hurts have a double pass like Julian Edelman did against the Eagles last year, right? At that point, it comes down to the coaching, and that's why that's my biggest issue. I've never been sold on Doug Peterson. It's not that he's a bad coach, but in game he has to be able to adjust. Andy Reid was never great at adjusting, but he has a godly quarterback. Carson Wentz a lot of the time can still do that. I want to see Miles Sanders get himself close to 25 carries this week. I don't know if he will because they're worried about his hamstring still. But at some point in the season, you need to see 25 carries a game. You need to see that aggressiveness from the run game. And then watch what happens when Carson Wentz doesn't feel like he's getting sacked every 2 plays and you have a run game. It's amazing what he does. That's why I think that there's no problem at the quarterback position. But it's not everything needs to be perfect for him because it wasn't. Skill players weren't there, but the O-line was healthy last year and they ran the ball. You combine those two things, and this week the O-line is going to be a lot healthier with Lane Johnson back. I think that you're in a good position to succeed. But you got to trust the run. You got to make the in-game adjustments. Defense is statistically the best in the league somehow. That's just a funny fun fact. I said that yesterday with Gavin.
Well, you're right, and I just want to bring up this comment right here. If you're up by 17, why keep throwing the ball? That's right.
Exactly. I don't understand why they don't want to run. And I get it. Boston Scott wasn't getting many yards, but on first down, you got to run it every time. Because then Carson's taking 10-yard sacks, and now you're screwed for the rest of the drive.
And also, two deep dropbacks, too. Those are two great comments right there. Zach, let me tell you something.
He's got to go lateral. He's got to stop dropping back vertically. He's got to go lateral.
It's like, well, also, too, Zach, if your offensive line is garbage, right, especially your one side, wouldn't you try to get the ball out quicker? Maybe if you're up by 17, would you want to waste the clock more? Zach, you're right. Doug Pearson got out-coached. This is the first time I actually came out and said it. He got out-coached. All right, his flaws were on full display. Normally, I'm quick to blame Jim Schwartz, and that's a whole nother story. Even though I think it's just Dwayne Haskins who doesn't have the best of pieces around him, but they made it work. So I can blame Jim Schwartz if I want to, and I will blame Jim Schwartz because Jim Schwartz, you still gotta be able to stop him. All right, it's Dwayne Haskins. Nobody special. Terry McLaurin, he's got natural speed. You got a new secondary now.
No, you gave him short field. The defense is not an issue at all. You gave him short field 3 times.
Exactly. So that's why I don't blame Jim Schwartz that much for this week. Obviously, you give up 24 points. There's gonna be some blame, but you can't blame the defense for the short field. Though it falls around Doug Peterson. That's the main point. Doug Peterson being outcoached and the offensive line being horrible. And I guess you want to say some of the rookie wide receivers making mistakes too.
And did they even run a single slant on Sunday? Can someone let me know in the comments? Like you watched the other night, 3-step drop and fire. Carson's always has to. I feel like he's always going to his second option. I feel like right away he looks okay. He's not open second, and that could be part of Carson too. But he doesn't know how to wait to let a guy get open. But did they even run a single slant? Like just do quick stuff. Let them creep in on you, and then throw it deep.
Look, Zach. I just look at this team. I'm just like how injuries has always been a problem for this team, right? And Doug Pearson, I'm gonna suggest something. And Zach, you can tell me you agree with this or not. You got Deshaun Jackson. You got Jalen Reagor, right? Both have tremendous speed, veteran speed versus young raw speed, right, Zach? Why don't you put them both out there at the same time? And let's see where that goes.
Let one go deep, let one be underneath. You're guaranteed to have a guy open every time.
Someone's gonna be open, right?
It was a failure. It was a failure to adapt to the quick pressure. Doug wanted to throw the ball downfield. He wanted to extend plays. He wanted to show off the speed. Carson would sit there for 2-3 seconds and fire a 15-yard in route to Zach Ertz over the middle. Right? He dropped one, by the way, which is pretty huge on a third down. But in reality here, we speak about quick plays. If they adjust and the pressure's getting there, 4-yard slant is not terrible. Honestly, Michael Thomas would be the perfect fit in Philadelphia right now because that's what we need. We need these guys to be able to run routes like that. That's why I think that Justin Jefferson would have been the better pick because he can run those routes. But without a doubt there, Gavin, we're going to wrap it up there. We're going to get to predictions tomorrow, Friday, to talk about the Eagles. But we'll continue with that conversation. But coming up now, we're going to shift over to tonight's preview of the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. Why on earth does that game even going to be televised
Who
on
wants to watch
Thursday
this?
Night Football, but we do have to cover it, and we'll talk about the NBA after that. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode. All right, Gavin. First overall pick and Heisman Trophy winner versus first overall pick and Heisman Trophy winner. Two teams that are supposed to be coming up on the radar, I guess. But here, Gavin, a little bit of a prediction. Burrow getting his first W tonight. I don't even know who to pick right now. I'll kind of let you go first. Do you have any idea? It's not going to be a fun game.
Well, I agree with that comment. Listen, Joe Burrow's going to come out here and win. Zach, remember, he went against a banged-up Chargers defense without Derwin James in the secondary, but they still had their front line. They still had Joey Bosa and the boys, and he put his team in a great position to win. But the kicker, obviously, Randy Bull, has a history of missing, and he showed you why. Zach, Baker Mayfield is the reason why I'm not picking the Browns today. I'm picking Joe Burrow and the Bengals to get his first win in the NFL. And the reason why, I just named it. Baker Mayfield. Okay? Baker Mayfield, you have Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. You have 2 studs of a running back. You have Austin Hooper. David Njoku's injured right now, so that's why I'm not putting him. But he's also there. He's good when he's there, too. You have all these guys. You got a great right tackle. They came out and drafted a left tackle as well for you. Your offensive line is getting there. Zach, what the hell is wrong with Baker Mayfield? That's what we really got to think about. What is wrong with him? Zach, another annoying thing about Baker Mayfield is this too. Everybody talks about what the run game has to do better, but ladies and gentlemen, I have to say this. When you have a quarterback that can't pass to save his life, and what I mean by that is receivers be open, but he puts them in bad spots, I'm daring you to throw it. Who cares about the run game? I'm stacking the box just so you can't run the ball, so you have to pass it. So I don't want to hear anything about Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt not doing their job. How can they run the ball when there's 30,000 people in the box and they're daring you to throw the ball? Zach, why is Baker Mayfield so starting quarterback? That's the real question.
Played a pretty good defense last week. Probably still learning the playbook. Pandemic really hasn't helped with the preparation for a new coach. Most teams with a new coach are struggling early. They look sloppy, except for Washington. They actually look great defensively, that is. But on this situation, I'm going to take Cleveland tonight. It's because I don't trust the Bengals defense against Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, funny enough. It shouldn't be hard to throw the ball on swing routes to Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb is a beast inside. Kevin Stefanski is a good offensive coach who, similar to with Kirk Cousins, run the ball, get play action, get them to bite, throw the ball downfield. Baker Mayfield has to show up tonight for them to win. That's no doubt. But Austin Eckler last week, I have the stats here, Gavin. Austin Eckler, 19 carries, 84 yards. Joshua Kelly, 12 carries, 60 yards. Tyrod Taylor was only 16 of 30, 208 yards, no touchdown, but also no pick. So they're going to let him throw tonight, but I don't think that stack in the box is really going to keep them out. I think with a guy like Nick Chubb there, Austin Hooper too, who was – I mean, like you said, there's a lot of weapons there. There's no excuses for Baker Mayfield. I got to watch the game closely. I didn't get to watch that. I didn't get to watch the game last week, but for Baltimore, remember, that's a really good defense. That's a perfect team, in my opinion. 16-0, I keep saying it. I'm going to be shocked if they actually lose a game this year. But in reality here, I think that Joe Burrow has a good night. He is a good quarterback, but he's closer to his ceiling than a guy like Tua, and that's why we've talked about that when he gets his first start in Miami. So Burrow is a very mature quarterback. He's a very smart quarterback, but I do honestly think that he will probably get an interception tonight. I think he'll overestimate what he can do. His confidence will be a little bit too high, and he'll throw a pick to one of the good corners that the Browns have. Remember, their defense is not bad at all. The O-line on Cincinnati is still banged up. They're trying to recover. But in reality here, the run game is going to be key, but Baker Mayfield has to do the basics, right, and they win. All you got to do is the basics. Throw a few quick routes to Odell, throw some good routes to Jarvis, get some connection going, let Stefanski dial up some good plays. Stefanski has seen a live game. Remember, Gavin, when you have no preseason, you have no film to look at. Kevin Stefanski has no film to look at with Baker and say, here's what you did, we're going to change the plays. They have 1 week of that now, right? You got 1 week of that. Imagine what Stefanski's going to be able to dial up for this week. I think that they're going to be fine. Are they a playoff team? Probably not. 8-8, 7-9 is pretty optimistic. More like 5-11, 6-10. But yeah, it's up to Baker Mayfield tonight. If he throws a few stupid picks, he's going to lose. It wouldn't shock me if Case Keenum comes in by week 6 or 7. But this is Baker Mayfield's job to lose. It's his game to lose. But Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are going to play a big role in that tonight. So I am going to take the Browns. I'd say 26-24, maybe a game-winning field goal.
Well, Zach, I think 27-14. And the 14 is going to be off the 2 running touchdowns by Kareem Hunt or Nick Chubb. One of those guys. They might split. If you have him fancy, the night to start him. But I want to go back to last week. Zach, you're right. Baltimore 6-0, best defense, all that. We could rave about Baltimore. We've done that before, but we're not going to do it today. I want to go back, and I know we don't have the video clips here, but there's a pass Baker Mayfield throws to OBJ. He's wide open. He has the defender beat going deep, and he overthrows OBJ. Eli Manning, 30,000 years old, 80-year-old arm, 80,000-year-old arm, whatever you want to say, can hit OBJ going deep. Let me digress for a second. Excuse me. There's another play where OBJ's open. He does this move. He comes back, going this way, and he's open. You put the ball over here so he could turn. You end up throwing it behind him. He has to turn around and go get that. Zach, that's not good. There's a play from last year where Jarvis Landry is the intended target, and the ball is so far behind him on a deep pass, which I've never seen it before. Jarvis turns around and reaches back for it. Damn near got the man killed, and the ball ended up getting intercepted. Your accuracy is pure garbage, Baker Mayfield. It's pure garbage. And the fact that you still have a job in this league or is still a starting quarterback, it's beyond me. Zach, you're right. It's his game to lose, and it's his job to lose. There's no excuses this year. You have every offensive piece around. You have a healthy OBJ. A dangerous OBJ. You have a Jarvis Landry. You have Austin Hooper. I already raved about offense. Defense, I'm not even going to talk about the defense, but Zach, their game to lose.
Without doubt, and coming up after this, we'll be recapping tomorrow the game from tonight, and they'll be doing predictions around the NFL tomorrow. So, Gavin, coming up after this, we'll be talking about the NBA. Is Doc Rivers as good of a coach as we think he is? I have a couple interesting stats to look at, and we'll decide the verdict. So stay tuned.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
Gavin, top 5 coaches in the NBA, go. Any order.
Of right now or just all time?
Right now.
All right. Nick Nurse, number 1. Or no order? Does that have to be order? There's no order.
No order.
Nick Nurse, Eric Spoelstra, Doc Rivers, I would say Frank Vogel and Brad Stevens. That's 5, right?
Above Pop? You putting Vogel over Pop or putting Vogel?
Oh, actually, no, excuse me. Put Pop in there. That's my Pop.
All right, so there you go. One of those 5, Doc Rivers. Good coach. Has had a lot of success with Boston. Was traded to the Clippers. You don't really see that often in the NBA. But, Gavin, in 2003 to 2020, I have a abundance here. And it could be cherry-pick data. It blocks out the success. And maybe that's just how it is. But 2003 blew a 3-1 lead. 2009 blew a 3-2 lead. 2010 blew a 3-2 lead. 2012 blew a 3-2 lead. 2015 blew a 3-1 lead. 2016 blew a 2-0 lead. And 2020 blew a 3-1 lead. Gavin, again, this is the information. It's up to us to decide on. This is not all the information. You can probably look at when he won the NBA Finals and look at when he's come back from being down versus other coaches who have also blown leads. So that's just the information. And here's the question. Is Doc Rivers overrated?
No, he's not. And the reason why is you got to look at the people he used. You had Rajon Rondo at one point. You had Kevin Garnett, aged Kevin Garnett. You had Paul Pierce, the truth. And you had Ray Allen, Jesus Shuttlesworth, and that crazy dude, Kendrick Perkins. All right? You had that guy. So you had that team. All right, you win a championship with that team, and you lose to Miami LeBron. That's fine. But in this series, and you want to go to the Clippers because there's a lot of 3-1s or 3-2s. Excuse me, with the Clippers, you had a Chris Paul, a young, not old Chris Paul, still I want to say primetime Chris Paul, a young Blake Griffin, and a DeAndre Jordan, and a Jamal Crawford, and some other people as well. You couldn't get to the Western Conference Finals. You still couldn't get to the Western Conference Finals another year. You lose to Golden State, all right, and I know this might be out of order, but Memphis has your number 2 in a playoff series one time, Zach. I don't know if you remember that or not. We go to this year. Paul George did not have the best playoffs ever. Teams like the Mavericks, and ultimately your kryptonite, the Nuggets, you were supposed to beat them and you didn't. They took you to almost 7 games. The Mavericks, the Nuggets did, and ultimately you lost to them. Zach, I don't want to call Doc Rivers overrated because obviously his resume and he's a great coach. I think he's a fantastic coach. But we have to look at him and like, dude, what the hell's going on? You're not getting to where we want you to be.
A good coach makes below average and average players overachieve. A great coach can blend them and use all the high-level talent they have correctly. Last year, there's no pressure on Doc Rivers. You trade Tobias Harris away, right? You have Lou Will, Pat Bev, a couple other guys on your team.
Yeah.
And you go up against Golden State and you give them hell in the first round, right? 5-6 games. You made it interesting. It was like 30-some-1 odds. I had a friend who had someone placed to bet on the Clippers and was scared for his life to lose a lot of money. But this year he had all the talent. In 2014, he had all the talent. And by the way, I do want to give him credit before I do say anything else. The Donald Sterling situation was horrible. To be someone who has been a part of the race that was targeted in comments made by your owner, and to handle it as well as he did, props to him. It's not easy when you have that much adversity, like Ron Rivera with the football team right now. They're having a lot of stuff at the front office going on. And so to have the entire rebuild from Lob City, great job. Continue to make the playoffs for the most part. Won an NBA Finals in Boston. But Gavin, he's had 7 years, man. Brett Brown's had 7 years and he gone, right? Doc Rivers has not made it to the conference finals since he was with Boston. So here's the question. Is there another coach out there that would elevate these guys further? Maybe the other 4 coaches you named, Brad Stevens, like they could all for sure come in here and do it correctly. If you know that playoff P, they've been calling them pandemic P, has been struggling, you got to find other ways to adjust and adapt. He took 3, Gavin, you saw today in our class, he took 3 corner threes late in the game and did not hit a single one.
Yeah, and he's the best at the corner threes, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what to say. I think Doc Rivers is a great person. He's probably one of the best coaches in the league, and there's not going to be really anyone else that you can find that would do different. But look at Eric Spoelstra, right? He's not saying, Jimmy, 40, you do the job. He's saying, Tyler, give me 14. He's saying, Goran, give me 30 every few nights. He's saying, Bam, go out there and just do your job defensively. Doc Rivers got sucked into the All-Stars he had, right? And he relied too much on both of them. No points in the fourth quarter for either one. They both were shooting the ball. But how about this? Early in the year, I don't know if you remember this, Gavin, but there was a report that came out anonymously that players in the Clippers locker room were annoyed at the do you remember this? The special treatment of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
Yeah.
So that is showing here. Honestly, it is. The other guys didn't step up when they needed to, and the coach relied too much on the All-Stars. One thing that you can give credit to the coaches that LeBron James has had, Ray Allen wasn't washed up, but he wasn't Boston Ray Allen. He knocks down a great shot for them at the end. It wasn't LeBron. LeBron missed his three-pointer. We all know I'm talking about Game 6 against San Antonio after Kawhi Leonard missed, by the way, which allowed them to pull ahead and tie that game and ultimately win in overtime. Eric Spoelstra made sure that Birdman and made sure that all these other players on the court were doing their job, but also allowed LeBron, D-Wade, and Chris Bosh to do their job. There's a difference between allowing a guy to do their job and to heavily depend on them. Gavin, what's the big difference between Phil Jackson and the coach before him? I forget his name. I apologize. For Michael Jordan early. What the previous – that's right. What did he tell Michael Jordan when he was the coach? What was his play strategy?
You got to trust the others around you. Michael did not like the ball being taken out of his hands. He wanted the ball in his hands. Phil had a system that took the ball.
Trusted everybody else.
Yeah, to
And
trust
guess what
everybody else.
happened? Remember when Scottie Pippen sat out and Kukoc made the game winner? Steve Kerr knocked down the game winner. It wasn't
But they
always
were all
Michael.
bad.
And when Michael had to, he did. But the previous coach, he's telling him, give the ball to Michael and get out of the way. All right, that's not good coaching. That's just sheer dominance. That's allowing the player. That's putting the pressure on the player. Again, Jimmy doesn't have the pressure. He does his thing. He's clutch. But the other guys around him do their part. And Doc Rivers needs to get better at that. He needs the other guys in the playoffs to do better. The bench is going to get shallow. So having a good bench doesn't really matter in the playoffs. It's great for the regular season. But the two guys off your bench in the playoffs is what's most important. Again, Pat Bevel's not fully healthy this year, so that could have changed a lot of things. You're up 3-1 though. You gotta not depend so much on your all-stars, and they fell in that trap this year. And unfortunately, they're gonna regret that. So we got a few minutes here, Gavin. Anything else you want to say there?
Yeah, two quick things, Zach. One, when it comes to Eric Spoelstra, going back to Phil Jackson, I feel like Eric Spoelstra said this: in clutch situation, put the ball in Jimmy's hands. Don't get out the way. Make something. Get open. Help him.
Exactly. Set a screen. Do something. Be ready for the offensive board.
Yeah. And regarding the Doc Rivers, you gotta give him one more chance with this team, right? With this team right here, maybe get somebody else. I don't know who else you get. Give him another chance with this team outside of a bubble setting. And
They for sure should run it back.
They do. They need to run it back. And I think if they had fans, it would have been a different story.
But they might not re-sign Trez. We'll see if that story continues to progress. But with that being said, I'm going to try to find the article tomorrow for the special treatment. I'll pull it up and talk about it on the show.
Oh, I know what you're talking about the special treatment, yeah.
Recapping the Browns-Bengals game, and then we'll be talking about the Eagles preview, possibly a pregame if we're down for it. We'll figure out that and more. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We got a lot of good views and interactions. Much appreciated by all of you. Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow.
We'll see y'all tomorrow, everybody.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post